15-year-old girl might actually imagine modeling be like, always wearing something beautiful, something nice.
I did not expect it to be that hard. In 4 days of my route, there were 62 modeling agencies. 62 of them rejected my proposal to work with. People would say to me, oh, but you are so nice and so tall and so beautiful. But I would always have a question to myself. When I went to one-to-one therapy, all this disaster that was inside, look, I get goosebumps, it just went out physically. When I figured out that I could do coaching, I could do psychology, I said, well, I'm studying. Studying what? Like, are you going crazy? Well, no, I'm not crazy. I'm studying how to help people not go crazy. I never identified myself, oh, I am the model. No, first I was Margarita, and then I would do modeling as a job. Today, I identify myself different because what I do in coaching is more linked with my soul, with who I am, what I'm good at. Bésame. Bésame mucho. Today, if you ask me, do you want to be anything else? Do you want to do any other job? I would say no.
Hi everyone, you are at Vila Media channel where we talk about public speaking, about personal branding, media branding, marketing, a little bit about everything. And today we're talking to someone very, very unusual for me because I've never interviewed someone who worked as a model. So I'm interviewing Margot, and she's been a model for 12 years and is doing life coaching now. Her story is beautiful and powerful at the same time. So she's learned a lot how to accept her body, how to reconnect with her body, mind, and emotions. She's been through a therapy, she's been through difficult times, and she's an amazing person to learn from. So meet Margot and welcome Margot with her story.
Hi guys, my name is Margarita. I come from Barcelona. 12 years of professional modeling created a lot of doubts in me and my body, and after personal therapy and big life experience, I've been able to reconnect me and my body and my emotions and my thoughts. So today I practice life coaching and I help people to overcome different crises in life and to reconnect with themselves.
That's a pretty complex job, isn't it? To help people get through life crisis. Yes. And I know you've got a long story, Margarita. Maybe we can start with your story.
Okay, let's listen.
I know you had a rich story of working in the model business.
Yes.
Back in the days, let's put it this way. I've never interviewed a model before.
Well, good.
You look absolutely astonishing, beautiful, very tall, beautiful woman sitting in front of me. I really want to know your story. Can you tell me how it started? How did you go into a model business? What was your journey back then?
All right. So actually it started with my mom. So one day she came home and she said, oh, look, I took a bus ride and I saw this magazine. Obviously, back then we had the magazines.
Yeah.
Not the digital ones. And there is this modeling school that they're just inviting tall and beautiful and interesting people to join. So I went for an interview when I was 15. And they said, yes, please come, please study. So I did like a full studying. It was not like, oh, I'm just tall and I'm just pretty and then I will jump into do a photo shoot. No, I went through the entire 6-month studying. So we studied how to walk on the podium, the different types of haute couture, pret-a-porter. Then we studied all the posing, how to put the hand, how to put the move, how not to have this here where a lot of people have on the on the pictures, how to position yourself, how to put the legs. So all the posing part, makeup, protocol, all the different things. And then after that, I enrolled in different fashion shows. And then I think it was Barcelona, it was Madrid, it was Milan, it was Paris, it was eventually London. I also traveled to places like India or Dubai. And it was a lot of fun and a long journey, 12 years of journey.
That's a long journey for
Yes.
sure.
And
Yeah.
it started as a hobby because obviously when you were 15, you were still in high school.
Yeah.
You have to do a compatibility, with school. And then while I was doing uni, I was also doing it like half part-time. But then eventually when I moved to London, it was like a full-time job. And then it eventually finished with COVID. It just all happened together. Yeah, so it was full 12 years of long journey, all different types of jobs. Within the modeling job, all different types of, there's a big range of what things you can do. And a great experience. And I think it also fitted, how I ended up in modeling. It all came with what I wanted from my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So for me, it was because we all have different type of personality, and regardless of what our parents can say or what our family can advise to us, if you know who you are and you're like, okay, I'm just not kind of person that would fit comfortable working from 9 to 6 in an office and go to the same place every day. So if I know that that's not working for me, then I will try to look for a job that will fit what my understanding of comfortable environment is. So I was very clear that I wanted to have a flexible schedule because I'm here, I'm there, I'm interested in this and that. I was very sure that I wanted to travel the world, and I looked for a job that would help me to do that. So obviously whenever I would travel for 3-4 days of job, then I would stay 2-3 extra days and enjoy the city, and it was just great. And then I wanted people, because I understand that eventually we'll come up to say like how I ended up in coaching, but I like people. I like to be around people. Yeah. I have a lot of energy as a Scorpio, as just my type of personality. I like to give energy because I have a lot. If I don't give, I go crazy. So that was also a thing that I need to be with a lot of different people, and I'm curious about people, and I was very curious about the world. So I just wanted to be flexible in schedule, travel, have access to different things, and being able to meet new people and being able to meet new cultures. And then I thought, okay, so modeling would fit. So then the other thing was like, oh, how can I fit into that? Because, as a model, you have to be in a certain shape. You have to have a certain measurements. So that is another story, like how I fitted into modeling, but modeling fitted into my values and my perspective of the life, let's say, for the 10-12 years that it lasted. Yeah.
And an interesting thing that you've just mentioned, that you associated modeling with all these really important and really beautiful values, like being surrounded by the people, traveling the world, having a flexible schedule. And my question to you, so that is probably what, 15-year-old girl might actually imagine modeling be like, always wearing something beautiful, something nice. Was it the same when you started the actual job? Was it as easy and as beautiful as you imagined it before you started the actual job?
Okay, so all that, whatever I mentioned, was definitely there. I did not expect it to be that hard, because you have a lot of, people don't realize, but it's a lot of physical job. So let's say in my time in London, when I was full-time model, I could have 15 castings per day, and they could all be in different parts of the city. So I had to carry a backpack with my shoes, with my tablet or my physical book where you have all your pictures, and run from one place to another. And if it's raining and if it's cold, still you cannot wear all these baggy clothes because you need to wear something fit so they can see your figure. So obviously you run up and down with a big backpack, with water, with tea, with food, with snacks. You have to keep healthy and not to faint in the middle. Then also depends on what type of job you do. Obviously, if you're doing like fashion shows, but fashion shows, they're not there every day. So you have to combine with other alternatives, which, for example, can be all the different fairs, like the bridal expo or any other expo with the clothes that you have to be there for 3-4 days. And you have to stand for 8 hours on high heels.
Yeah.
So no one prepares you for that. And if you are tall, then you start to have some health issues with your legs, with the varices, all this kind of thing. So that's hard. Or if, for example, if you do fitting job, which I did a lot, again, you have to be standing, and they're putting things on you, and about beautiful stuff. Yes, of course. If you're doing fashion shows or if you're doing photo shoots, you put all beautiful clothes on you. But sometimes it's not like that. Especially when you do fitting jobs, they're toiles, meaning that they're dresses in progress with a lot of pins, with a lot of stitches that can come into your body, into your skin. So that's the not most comfortable part of the job. And also, this is a story that I always tell to people, and they're like very surprised. All these beautiful summer suits, summer campaigns, they're all shot in winter. So if you work for a nice client who can afford flying to Maldives or Seychelles and have you there enjoying your time in winter and doing a bath or a bikini shoot, it's fine. But if you're working for a regular brand who is just starting, which happened to me a lot when I was in Barcelona, you are in Jan, somewhere near the beach, completely undressed with just a bikini, and it's like 5 degrees Celsius outside, and you have to shoot for like 7, 8, 9 hours, maybe for a day or two. So it's absolutely freezing outside. So you have to keep warm with like blankets and teas, and sometimes even little cognac inside the tea. Otherwise, you cannot survive the thing. So that's the not easy part of the job.
How did that make you feel? After, all the dreams that you had about the modeling business.
But because the job was giving me what I wanted, I said, well, this is the price. I think in every industry, you have your pros and you have your cons. So for me, and it's also, I also believe that the job is not for everyone. Every time you meet new clients, you meet new team, you have to fit in. You have to find a way to cope with people. You have to find a way not to fight or to be comfortable. So not everyone is capable of dealing with new people every day. So with my psychological mind, that's very easy for me. It was easy. I didn't know why it was easy, but today I know why. And today I do coaching because I am good at that. But for me, it was very easy to fit. So that part was an easy one. And all the difficulties, you have to be realistic about everything in life. So it doesn't matter what type of job you have. There will be parts that you will be like, okay, you have your balance, and if this job is giving me A, B, C, D, F, G, and there's like only A, B, C of the cons, then it's worth it. Like in everything, friendships, relationships, jobs. So I was just happy with what I was getting, and whatever situation would not make me happy because it was slightly difficult, I would just prepare. So,
Well, what you're calling slightly difficult, probably it was slightly difficult for you. For somebody else, it will be like a crash of the dreams and everything. So you're obviously a very sort of tough and a very brave person as well. And so a question, so apart from the fact that it's not for everyone, as you fairly mentioned, it's a very competitive job, isn't it?
Yes.
So there's a huge competition between girls and women who are trying to get in.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why? And can you tell me if the competition is worth it?
Okay. So, well, that was also a surprising part for me because since I was a child, maybe because I had this huge amount of energy and the girls were a little bit more slow, I always hanged out with guys. Like I would run with boys when I was a kid. I would just be around boys all my life. So when I entered modeling, I was like, oh gosh, like a lot of girls. And then to start building this communication with girls that, just within girls, we are competitive. And then when you fight for a job, because sometimes you do fight, sometimes, not everyone is chill and comes like, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I have, this is my experience. And halas, as we say in Dubai. No, in there, sometimes you can have a bit of a drama. So for me, that was a bit surprising where I had to deal with so many women. Now, the competitivity is there, and it's a bit of a different competitivity of what we understand. Girls can compete for different things. But when, especially in modeling, what's important to understand is that at the end of the day, if you repeat clients, let's say, right, you work for the same client year after year or season after season, then your personality is important. But since 90% of the jobs are always new clients, and especially if you travel abroad, your personality is not counting for absolutely anything. I mean, obviously, if you are rude when you come to a casting, they might not take you. But so then what happens is that everything, like your CV, is basically your pictures and how you look. So the competition is not that much about personality. It's all about body.
Some external factors, right?
Yes,
Mainly.
I already have goosebumps.
The goosebumps.
I'm just remembering. So
how did that make you feel? Were you prepared for that?
terrible. I think no woman is prepared for that, and especially for me. And I always say this: I believe modeling should start when you are at least 25.
Yeah.
Because what happened, and it happened to me, and I saw a lot of girls that, when you were 14, 15, when you start modeling, what happens to our body when we are that age? We start to be curvy, we start to have we start to be not that a teenage girl, but a woman. So in that age, usually the girls you can see how you communicate with people, with the male part of the society. So you can see, oh, I'm changing, but I'm seeing an acceptance from my change. So I am happy about my changes. I am happy about me. I'm happy. I'm comfortable with my body. What happens in modeling is that they want you very slim. They want you very flat.
Yeah.
And whatever curves. Now it's a bit different now. It's been 15 years past, so it's a bit different. But when I started, they want you really, really skinny and really slim. So whenever you have a bit more of bust or a bit more of shapes here, or your waist is tiny and then you have your hips, which is amazing, there it's not seen very nicely. So first of all, you have the competition between the women based only on the physical aspects. And then your physical aspects are constantly under a question mark. Oh, you put 1 kilo more, or now your hips are 1 centimeter more than the week before, or your bust is a little bit big, you have a C cup instead of a B cup, so now you don't fit in a dress. Sorry, we cannot take you. Lose weight, lose your curves, lose your shapes, lose more weight. So it's like a very difficult psychological part, and I believe, and it would be great to see, when we share the video, what people can say. But for me, it did so much damage to my perception about myself, because first of all, I was always on a diet. I lived on a diet. I would always check, I should eat this pasta, not eat this pasta, eat this cookie, eat this biscuit, eat this dessert, not eat this dessert. Completely obsessed about the shapes. Why? Because your job depends on that.
Yeah.
So let's say you have a job that you have to come to the office every day, and you have maybe a disease that will not allow you to do that. So then you start to stress out about that, because that's how you do your money or your life, or it's your job. So my job depending on my body. So my body was my machine it's like it's like a machine to do the job. So constantly thinking about that, and then people would say to me, oh, but you are so nice and so tall and so beautiful. But I would always have a question to myself. Am I? Is this enough? Is this too skinny? Too much to this? Too little here? Too much here? So you question yourself every day, because they question yourself, because they are the authority, because they are the one who hires you, because they are the one who decides if you're suitable or not suitable. So you always think about, will I be okay for them or not okay for them? So you are not based on how you see beauty or how you see your body, or how, okay, my body is healthy for me, not healthy for me. You depend on what they say. So that is definitely damaging. And also because you're constantly questioning your body, you lose confidence about yourself. And it happened to me. I knew I was beautiful. I knew I had an amazing body, but I did not believe it by the end of the day, because I would always question myself and question myself.
For many years.
For 12 years. So you take that, and you put another 50 women around me. So that's a destroyer for self-confidence, for self-worth. especially as a woman. I'm not talking about my qualities as a person or as a friend or as a daughter or as a sister. But as a woman, it completely damages your image about yourself. And I think it just, and also it took like years for me to come back. Like today, I am absolutely overweighted for modeling. I have too much waist, I have too much hips, I have too much bust. I'm not 90, 91
Not
here.
to me, Margot,
But
not to me.
I am completely,
absolutely beautiful.
in love with myself today. And even like something that I've been noticing in the last years, you know how women sometimes we have this, we all have this small belly.
Yeah.
It's not the belly, it's just like little stomach is little belly, you eat some cookies, you can put you up. Yeah, we all, men, women, we all have. So for me, I would always see and I would check in the mirror like, oh, if I had this one here, I'm already fat.
So what you're trying to say is it's one thing when we're trying to maintain our bodies in a healthy shape, but we're not obsessed with, if you eat one pasta today, or even if you eat a pasta for a week just because you're somewhere on a trip or whatsoever, you still have like an understanding that you're okay, first of all. Second of all, you can go to the gym later on, you can get on like a little bit lighter diet, etc., etc. But in this job, what it makes you feel is like you do not have first of all, you cannot judge yourself realistically. Because with the thing in the skinny body, even if you eat some extra meal, it doesn't make you fat straight away, right? But it's very difficult to see yourself as real, right?
Yeah.
You probably see your food, and that's very dangerous as far as I understand for a lot of girls who are probably mentally a little bit weaker, right? Not weaker, but let's say maybe a little more sensitive. Let's say they can get into like a really, really big trouble, right?
Yes, correct. So as I said at the beginning, the modeling industry is not for everyone, especially for women, because we're constantly questioned about our body, which is already more than we are. As a woman, you and me, we go outside, we are still constantly questioned about and valued about our body. And you put that into a job, that's even more intensified. So obviously someone who is not mentally prepared to say, okay, until here, from here, a little bit next step is going to be, it can be all these disorders, food disorders.
Yes.
Right? And also, like when it happened to me, like you have to believe in what you are, and you have to also be confident about, okay, this is, until here is good, until here is not good. So for example,
where did you feel that? Where did you feel like, how did you manage to sort of build that barrier for yourself? Because obviously there's no protection. Like you need to be really tough. You need to have a very strong character to be able to survive in this, right?
Yeah.
So how did you manage to do that?
So let's say, for example, and let's take any industry. In any industry, you have all different types of companies. So some companies, they ask you to work 20 extra hours per week. Some same in the same industry, different company would say, okay, we work from 9 to 6 and that's it, basta.
Yeah.
So same happens in modeling. You have different types of job. You can do only pictures, only because you might be a little bit shorter. You can do only fashion shows, or you can do fittings, or you can do any types of, like showrooms, different things. So I said, okay, these guys, particularly for these fashion weeks, they really need very skinny girls. Well, let me check what other options are there that will not really come that harsh onto me. So I remember when I came to London, and this was like this story, I still don't believe how I went through it, because I came to London and I didn't come recommended by another modeling agency. I just thought, hey, I've been modeling for 7 years. I'm just going to come to the office and present myself and let's see. So I did a preparation for all the modeling agency that there were in London. Then I came to the office and say, hi, I'm Margarita. I've been doing this and that. So In 4 days of my route, there were 62 modeling agencies, and 62 of them rejected my proposal to work with them. So, and all of them, they were saying, oh, you were too commercial, or you were too high fashion, or your measurements are not good for us, or you were too tall, or you're this. And I
There was
said,
always a reason.
and I was like, but guys, I've been in this industry for 7 years, and I've been very in high demand. So whatever
Yeah.
you're telling me does not make any sense for me.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you are told 62 times in 4 days that
You told
are
me about it.
that you are not valuable for them, you are like. So I came back home and I said, okay, let me have a conversation with myself, because something is not right. Like either they are blind or I am confused about myself. And then I thought, yeah, but I cannot be confused about myself, because I've been in the industry for 7 years and I've been flying all over the world to work as a model. So then I am certain about who I am as a model.
Yeah.
Then I said, okay, I thought, all right, so they don't want me for this jobs that they have, maybe a little bit of a different industry, different approach, but let me check what else. So then I started looking for areas within modeling where they didn't want that skinny, flat, like iron desk girls. And that was bridal. Obviously, bridal, you need a cute girl that, it's just like something more similar to a real life person.
Yeah.
Then jewelry, because of my my hands, they're very long, and my ears are not too big, and then my face is cute for all the jewelry. So I was doing a lot of jewelry. And also a lot of bikini and lingerie brands that they needed someone who did have a bit more of a bust and did have a bit more of a shapes like a real person. So I shifted to that part. And then also I shifted into fittings. Fittings meaning that I was working mainly with companies who would have me like an in-house model. So whenever they were doing new patterns, they would like to try it on a person who would fit a regular, S/M size worldwide.
Yeah.
So, and I was very happy with that, because then I found within the entire industry, I just found something where I would fit. And then once I did that, and then once I started posting all these jobs, then the agency started contacting me. Oh, hi, Margarita, how are you? We are seeing that you are working very well in London. I said, yes, I told you I will. Or would you like to come for castings for fashion weeks? And then eventually I did even London Fashion Week with all this, me not being that skinny. They just asked me, okay, we just need you maybe you can lose 1 or 2 kilos for us. I said, 2 kilos is too much. I can lose 1. And then I did the shifts.
What do you think helped you to overcome that, obviously, like a milestone in your career when probably somebody else would crash, and after 62 rejections will probably get into something, definitely in tears, and then just probably getting out of this industry?
Yeah, I think, going back to the 62 rejections, I think for me it was like I was not accepting the fact that all these people were telling me that I was not worth. So I would just went against the system. But what really helped me to overcome all these situations is that I asked myself, okay, who I'm talking to? Who is the authority here? So again, obviously, if the agency is the one who is giving you the job, you have to somehow fit in their requirements. But then I thought they were too harsh. I thought they were not realistic. I thought they were losing their perception on me. So I said, okay, I don't want to have these people as an authority anymore. So I will just shift somewhere else where I will be accepted. And I found it too hard on me and too harsh on me and too difficult. So I was not comfortable there. And I said, okay, if I'm not comfortable here, if it's giving me more damage than good, then I should leave. But I was not ready to leave the industry yet in that time. So I thought, oh, maybe, there is something else that is not that much of all these things that I don't like. Because sometimes we are somewhere and we think that this is the only option, but it's not. And I think this is what helped me a lot, to be aware that within the industry, there are other options and I can consider them. And consider if they fit me, my personality, what I see as healthy, right? So when I did that, everything helped. And also, there was one time that I was running running around this London with these castings, and I got very skinny, and I started to be a bit not dizzy, but I started to feel low on energy. And in that time, I thought, okay, my body is just not ready to be that skinny. I'm just not ready. I'm 180. I'm 5'11". I cannot be 55 kilos. It's physically impossible. It's too little weight. So then I also listened to my body saying like, hey, you're losing energy. You should be a little bit more on weight. And also like I realized that I was always stressed about the food. Always. Even when I was on holidays, because I was in this constant, it was just a constant thought about, oh, don't eat this, don't eat that. Okay, what will this do with, so, or if you eat this, you have to go to the gym. So even when I was on holidays, because we are the result of what we do every day.
Yeah.
So even on holidays, I was still thinking about that. So
just always in control of food. Did you have to sort of use the help of the therapist or therapy at some point of time to overcome, or did you manage to sort of get through it by yourself? This is, I think this information is, it's obviously your personal one, but it's probably very valuable for those who are going to listen to that and who are in the same situation and they might be lost.
Sure. So I got familiar with therapy when I was 17. It was nothing related to modeling. It was just a personal situation in my life where, by myself, I could not do anything. I would not, share with my parents, or at least they were not able to help. So then we addressed it's like a women's center in Barcelona that they were helping women to cope with different parts of their lives. So I got this first touch with therapy when I was 17, and I saw huge results. Like I would be stressed or overwhelmed and just paranoid in my home. And then whenever I would go to the center and talk to a lady, even if it was just for 1 hour, I would calm down. And then after a couple of sessions, I would eventually be able to go out of the situation and push back all these emotions that were overwhelming. Like this tornado that we had in Dubai, that it just all comes and puts all over you, and then you need a couple of days to dry out, Yeah. So it was exactly the same. So I had this touch with therapy when I was 17. And then already when I was like 25, 26, I was getting a bit tired of the industry of modeling. So I was trying to go away from it, and because it was causing stress to me and my body and my health, psychological health. So then, because it was all related to body, and it was already about how I was seeing myself, and also the fact that as a woman, I was not seeing myself with the realistic eyes, my personal relationship, there was a negative effect on my personal relationship because, people treat you the way that you treat yourself. And if you're not comfortable with yourself, or if you were questioning yourself, then other people will start questioning you, and you will allow them to question you because you question yourself as well. So all this I was like in this circle, a vicious circle about, okay, this is not working. So I have to do something about it because I'm not happy about me. So then I started to go to group sessions, related to women's body, women's psychological part. And then once I realized that I was not the only one, that there were other women that might not come from the same background, but they have similar doubts, similar questions, similar sadness in life, or just concerns about themselves. And I felt like, oh, okay, fine, good. Then means that I'm not crazy, that I should not feel bad, that I feel bad about myself.
Yeah.
So I allowed myself to feel okay with feeling not okay about myself.
Yeah.
And then eventually with these group therapy, then I started to obviously read a lot of literature and a lot of books and do self coaching, let's call it like that, self therapy to myself. And then eventually, once I was comfortable to share, then I went into one-to-one therapy, and that was very deep. And then I went through
Massive breakthrough.
a massive breakthrough. And also, it happens to me, it happens to a lot of people, it happens to a lot of women, that our mind is very related to our body.
Yeah.
So when I went through one-to-one therapy, you cannot imagine how many things happened to me. I had like huge hair loss. I had allergy all over my body. I had even like a kind of huge thing on my back that was all these things that I was holding inside for years that I was scared to share because, you are afraid of, oh, maybe my friends will not understand, or maybe my parents will not understand, or maybe even the society will not understand, or maybe I'm the only one suffering from this. And especially when you come from this, I am very brave, as you said, and I'm very organized, and I'm very logical, and I'm very, confident. So I was so scared that all these things that define me. And then there is another part, which is self-doubting, which is self-judgmental. It doesn't go together. So I did not see how these two people living in the same body could be public, because, whenever I would share something more personal, my concerns with my close friends, they would be like, but you are so brave, you're so confident. How come you have these thoughts? How come you can, like even physical, I'm not talking about something really deep, but even physical, they would say, but you are so stunning and so beautiful. How come you don't see yourself? And that is, and then whenever you feel you hear these comments, you're like, all right, so what shall I do? If that's the feedback I'm receiving from my friends. So that's when I went to one-to-one therapy. All this disaster that was inside, look, I get goosebumps, it just went out physically. I was like crying, and I had this, I was losing my hair, and I was even crying more. And then we went through another topic, and then I had this allergy here and allergy there. And it was just, but then because I was already in, trying to understand the psychology, I knew that it would all come from inside. And I was so obviously worried that, all this disaster is coming into my body, but I was so genuinely happy that everything is going out. So now after years, whenever something is wrong in my body, I'm like, okay, hold on, sit down.
You're reconnecting.
Oh, let's have a conversation. Because today I am capable to do a conversation with myself to a certain point, obviously not 100%, but let's say 70% I can do a conversation with myself and say, okay, let's sit down, let's have a conversation. And funny thing, sometimes I do conversation in front of the mirror, to myself.
Well, I think wherever you're comfortable to have a conversation with yourself, it works, right? As long as people talk to themselves, meaning reconnecting with their emotions, with their bodies, I think that's pretty efficient, isn't it? It doesn't matter whether you're doing it before going to bed, meditating, or, I don't know, looking at the mirror. I think it's just a pretty powerful thing to do. Yeah. Anyway, that was a very touching story, and thanks for sharing that. And I wanted to ask you, so have you ever thought of converting into somebody else but the model while you were working? Were you thinking about a different career?
So see, I never dreamed of being a famous model. Actually, I'm very non-social media person. I like to be on the spotlight because I am,
you're working, yeah.
Yeah, I like to be on the spotlight. And my type of personality is a little bit of a leader. So I don't mind to be on the spotlight, but I don't like to be publicly on the spotlight. I would never like to be a celebrity. Today we are here because, it's fun, but I would not like to be socially recognizable everywhere because I'm very private I value a lot my private life. Again, I have a lot of energy. I like to share. I don't mind being a leader. But then there is time for me when I need to recover. And then in that recovery time, I don't want anyone especially no one to recognize me. So I never dreamed of being this super famous model. And even when I did this strategy, my approach of what type of modeling jobs I would like to face, you can, like in every career, you can face different strategies to become one or another. So I never faced to be, like on all the covers of magazines, because then people would start recognizing you and then you will lose your privacy. But I was still doing the covers. Doesn't mean I didn't do any. So then, since I never dreamed to be this super, Claudia Schiffer recognizable model, for me, modeling was a way to get my life comfortable and my values comfortable and enjoy my life. So I never identified myself, I am the model. No, first I was Margarita, and then I would do modeling as a job. Today, I identify myself different, because what I do in coaching is more linked with my soul, with who I am, what I'm good at. Doesn't mean that I was not good at modeling. I was really good at modeling, but it just was not that connected to my soul, because again, going back, that nothing about your personality was valued. And I consider my personality is amazing. So there was a big part of me that people were not seeing, and that was a shame. Yeah. So obviously I said, okay, this is, I have to somehow balance it with other parts of my life. That's why I was always very active socially. And then when I got tired of modeling, because it was not fulfilling my needs and my values anymore, my values shifted, then I considered being someone else and doing something else. But again, I thought, well, I've been doing this job that was just fulfilling part of me, but then a big part of me and my personality and who I am was not taken in consideration. So I would like to do something that would fulfill me.
Yeah.
All the people around me, because I told you that in Barcelona I was doing modeling, but I also did my degree. So my degree is business and management. Yeah. And because I am so organized and so logical and so analytical, my mind works like a computer. People were like, oh, but you are so good in management. Like you look good and you talk good. Like, why don't you start? That doesn't matter what business you start, it's gonna work. So I thought, okay, maybe I should start my own project. But I knew that whatever project I would take, it would be successful. But again, it would be successful because I put a strategy there, or I put a thought there, or I know how to approach that, but it would not be something related to what I am good at. So then I was always denying these ideas. And then when I figured out that I could do coaching, I could do psychology, I could be with people, around people, meeting people, learning about people, having a flexible schedule, being able to travel, but still have this connection about, and take all this energy and just put it on the table, and just put it on the table. So I thought, oh, well, this is exactly what I had before, plus what I didn't have before. So it was like two things together. And when I understood this idea, I was like, okay, this is like, there's anything else. Like today, if you ask me, do you want to be anything else? Do you want to do any other job? I would say no. Something complementary to this, yes. But shift to a different industry or doing different things, definitely no.
So how can you tell me how this transformation happened? Okay. So how did you shift eventually from your active modeling career into the coaching that you're doing now?
Recently, I've been analyzing this because, I had to open up a little bit more in my social media. So, I was always this great listener friend. So I would people always come and open the soul and the heart and lives. And eventually I understood why people would come, because I would never be judgmental. Because I don't want people to judge me. I don't judge anyone. So that's why I was like a great friend and a great listener. And eventually a great advisor, because sometimes even if you don't go through life experiences, but because I had so many friends that would come and they would tell me what they went through, somehow I took this experience to me and I was able to process that. And then eventually I was able to even give some point of view regarding situations that had never been experienced by me, but I knew about them. So I was always like this all my life. And then, because by the end of my modeling career, I was already not good about myself, I thought, okay, I should go to therapy. I started to experience therapy by myself. I thought, oh, this is great. And read a lot of books and go through a lot of trainings and just trying to figure out what is this. And I was like, okay, this is great. There's actually a reason why people think like that or feel like that or they're concerned or they're stressed or they're panic. And then the key point was just before COVID, one of my girlfriends, she went in through a hard breakup with her partner. So we were not together in the same place, in the same city. So we would just call each other 2-3 times per week, just call and just talk. And after a couple of weeks, or maybe like a month and a half, when she was feeling better, when she would feel more confident about herself, when she was not, absorbing this negative thoughts and emotions, and she was not blaming herself anymore, and she was able to start letting go, she called me, she said, look, you are the best friend, but it's not about being friends. She's like, you are very good at this. And I was like, good at what? She was like, just good at listening and guiding. I said, what do you mean by guiding? She was like, well, first of all, you just listen. Like, it doesn't matter if I was yelling, screaming, crying, swearing, or just being silent, you were just listening. Like, then you did not judge, which is very important because I could open up to you. And then you would just ask me questions. And then whenever I needed your opinion, you gave me your opinion. And even if you gave me your opinion without me asking, you would just say, well, my point of view. And then this is your life, but this is my point of view. So she underlined this like 3-4 key factors. And she was like, what, you should be doing this. Like, you really helped me in a very short time. And I just did not want to call any other friend. So after she told me this, I was like, okay, well, maybe this is what I am good at. Mm-hmm. Should I consider that? This is key factor. It's parallel, all things going parallel. My mom, she started to be interested in numerology and astrology, mm-hmm. and all these alternative, let's say, esoteric sciences. Same time. She studied a course in school. It was online. And then because they need to count, they take your date of birth or your place of birth, and then they do some calculations. So obviously she was doing herself and she was doing me to practice. And she did this huge, like calculations and things. And she came to me and she was like, you are in a certain place where you need to do practical psychology, you need to help people, you need to cure people, you need to this. And then, like 2 things came to one. And all of a sudden I had this clear image that, well, if you believe in numbers say, I am good at this, I am like a knowledge collector, and I should share this knowledge to people, and that's what will make me happy and even enhance my life.
Yeah.
And then there is a confirmation for this because my friend told me that. And then I said, okay, so let me just think about that. And mm-hmm. then I went and I investigated. How can I do it? Is it even able to do that? Where can I study? What can I do? How can I approach this and that? And then I just analyzed the entire thing and I realized that, well, exactly what I told you before. I had the same things that I did have with modeling, which were important for my values. And then whatever I was missing was added up. So then I said, okay. And because I went through therapy, I knew what the person would go through. So we take lifetime
Yeah.
coaching without knowing that I was coaching, just great therapists
Yeah.
told by my friends, numbers and universe says that I should do that.
Yeah.
And then me opening my heart to people. And also that time is when I decided that I will share my stories, because when you go through tough life, my life was not always easy. And especially when your family is not mother and father. I grew up just with my mom. So when you are missing a paternal figure in your life, there is no one there to protect you as a father would do. So I would always try to protect myself. So instead of allowing people come to me and then if they cross the line, tell them, okay, this is not good and go back, I would just intentionally not let them come to me, so then I would not have to go through this situation where I would have to protect myself, right? So in that time, I thought, well, in order for me to share, in order for me also to relax and to be just in peace with myself, I have to open up. So then I can be able to tell, well, I went through this story and I was this bad and this happened to me and that happened to me. So if we put all this, and it all happened like within, let's say 3-4 months, and then COVID came. It was the best blessing in my life, because all the places I wanted to study, they were either you had to come physically and they were in another countries, or they were online but in a different timing.
Yeah.
So everything became like online but presential.
Yeah.
So I just got stuck home with 6 to 8 hours of Zoom calls. Every day I was insanely busy. People were like, oh my God, I'm struggling. I'm this. I'm like, yeah, I'm struggling as well. But I am so busy. I don't even have time to think that I'm struggling. But what are you doing? I said, well, I'm studying. Studying what? Like, are you going crazy? Well, no, I'm not crazy. I'm studying how to help people not go crazy. So, and then COVID time, I was like, I did so many studies, different courses, so many interesting things. And then eventually while I was doing that, I already started to do Zoom webinars, masterclass. And then eventually I moved to Dubai, and in Dubai, everything is offline. Here we like to touch people, be with people.
Well, I think both, pretty much, because we had like 2 Zoom calls with you before we met at the studio. It's great that we're meeting for a reason, right? We're recording it, and I'm happy about this conversation and how it is happening in reality. I mean, 2 Zoom calls, we probably discovered each other. I had a feeling of what kind of conversation I want to have, but in the physical world, this conversation happened to be a lot more interesting and a lot more powerful, right? And so I wanted to ask you, so first of all, how do you think your previous experience, your previous job, your modeling, plus the therapy that you took, and your sort of rediscovery of yourself together with your body and your mind, how does this help you to help other people?
Yeah. So let me start with modeling. Because I worked with a huge amount of people. And when you have one day to work, even if you don't like the person, you adapt because you want to make a nice environment. So that helps to control a bit your emotions and put priorities.
Yeah.
Right? Then because I work with so many different people, I've seen all type of personalities, all type of approaches. I've seen people extremely stressed or extremely relaxed, and when you have a little time and you need to do a lot of things. So because I had this touch with so many different personalities, so many different cultures, I can see people and I accept them and I like them. Everyone, of course, but at least I don't take it personally, and I know how to talk to them, how to deal with them, how to approach them. So today, in what I do in my therapy, that helps me just to accept whoever comes into the room, let's say, I've just seen so many different people that I just openly accept anyone who enters. Also, when you've gone through so many different ups and downs in my life, in my modeling, traveling, changing countries, dealing with people, freezing out while working, having to accept 62 times saying no, adapting new cultures, adapt in new, environment, adapt into new group of, people you work with. That experience allows me to understand people and allows me to understand what they go through. Because if you shift your job, I will totally understand what you go through. If you shift your country, I can totally understand your concerns. If you end a relationship and you start a new one, I've been there, I know. If you have low self-confidence, believe me, I know. Even if it looks completely impossible that someone like me could have ever had low confidence, and I'm still today working with some of the bits that are still, like this piranha, still trying to bite me from behind. So this beautiful and tough experience in modeling allows me also to understand people in all types of situations. Regarding my personal therapy, how it helps today, because I went through it, I know what the person will feel. I know what eventually the person will go through emotionally, physically. Sometimes you can cry, sometimes you can yell, sometimes you can be happy, sometimes you have to go for a run because you are so happy that you overcame some thought or a limiting belief. So I've been through that because my life was not easy at all. Still not easy today. So, so I know what the person can go through, and I can mirror, and I can also share my experience. And I think this is something that is also valuable, because when you come to a room and you share your life, and you know that the therapist will understand you. But when the therapist tells you, oh, but by the way, like I went through this and this happened to me and this happened to me, people are like, really? I said, yeah. So how did you overcome? Like this. Don't worry. I'm here with you. I will guide you because I know the way. I know the path. I've been through the same door. Yes.
But I also think therapy, I think the main sort of achievement that you've done with the therapy is probably reconnecting with yourself as a whole self,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And that's what gives you power now, right?
Yes.
Because you can't obviously live through the life with only part of yourself.
Yeah.
You have to accept everything you have, right? Yeah. And I think that's what you probably managed to do with the help of the therapy.
Yes. Yes. And what happens is that it's a bit of a cool addiction, because when you connect with yourself, you analyze your emotions, you analyze your thoughts, you analyze your goals, you start to connect with you, and you start to disconnect with other people's idea, other people's behavior, other people's way of living, and you start to build your own, like this game Sims. I think it was a game Sims, that like parallel reality, years ago, where you would create yourself, but you would build a different house for you or a different car for you. So you start to create your own reality. And when you connect to yourself, you're like, okay, so this person comes, tells me something, and I am 100% aware that maybe a year ago, I would get affected by this. I would probably take this as my truth. I would probably start to adapt myself all my life to this perception of life. But today I'm like, no, this doesn't go with my values. This doesn't go with what I like. So yeah, I respect you. And if you push me a little bit too much, I say, okay, I just thank you, but no, in a nice way. But then you start to reject all the things that do not resonate with your values and your way of seeing the world. And then you start to, when we have a closet full of clothes. So as they say, every half year you have to check and then take away whatever is
not working for you.
Exactly. Yeah. So you start to do the same with your habits, with your thoughts, with people around you. You start to say bye to people without being scared that they will disappear and you will end up not lonely, but less around people. And then you start to do things that you really like. And whenever you do that, the joy that it brings to you has no comparison with when you're doing something because, I don't know, someone else told you or your parents told you. So it's like cool addiction because you enjoy.
Apart from the coaching job that you're doing nowadays, which you're obviously doing with passion, what else do you do with passion? Maybe linked to your body, maybe linked to your hobbies, whatever.
Passion. So if you say me and passion, that would definitely be dancing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Dancing.
What do you dance?
I dance salsa, I dance bachata, and now I started dancing kizomba. So salsa, bachata are like Latin dances. Kizomba is a bit of a African dance. And actually, by the way, this all is part of my therapy.
Oh, really?
My real therapy.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
That definitely helps. But what's the difference? The salsa, bachata, whatever the third one?
Okay. So bachata is more, let's say, more sensual, where you have it's much smoother, it's much slower, and it's more sensual, where you have all these moves of the body that it's like very feminine.
Yeah.
Going back to my feminine part, salsa is so much fun. Your body is like ta 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 ta, and a lot of fun. Kizomba is more connecting to the partner. It's a lot of micro moves that you need to understand. So you need to feel the other person and truly connect. And for me, dancing, I started last year.
Right.
And I started as a personal therapy to main important things. This might be something that will help someone with similar issues, similar goals to solve. So I wanted to relax my body, first of all, to be more, not about flexibility, I'm extremely flexible, but more relaxed, to be, like a cloud, like marshmallow.
Right. Yeah.
That's first. Psychological parts. I wanted to learn how to let go the control. Because when I'm dancing with a partner, I can know the moves, but I don't know which is going to be his next move.
Yeah.
So I need to trust him. I need to trust him, and I need to let go of the control. I am not the one driving. I am not the one in the locomotive. I'm not the one in the train. He is the one who is leading. I just relax. So because of the life that I have a bit of responsibilities that I wish I didn't have.
Yeah.
So I just wanted a part of my life where I could come and not think and just let go and just, have this relaxation and trust and just not knowing about what's going to happen. So this is control release, and it helps a lot. And you can see every time I was going dancing at the beginning, I could see how I was trying to, my approach was like, okay, let me go to the school. Let me learn all the moves. So then I will know what he's going to do. So then I will be in control. No. It's the opposite. Okay, you get the basics. You get 3, 5, 10 moves. Halas. You go on the dance floor, and then you start dancing, and then you start to learning even from him. Or it's like it was
Is it helping to lose control, though? Is it helping you?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Teach me a move.
I've
never done that. I've never done that in Dubai, and I know it's quite popular.
Yes, all the social dancing. So, let's say bachata. Let's do. There are a lot of waves where we wave our body left to right. Yeah.
We're obviously not engaging the lower part.
Yes.
Okay, so this is bachata.
Yes, and we can also do the wave to the front.
Oh my God.
And back.
No, I'm definitely not losing control here. Yeah, that's quite cool. So this is bachata.
Yes.
Salsa is something.
Salsa is more.
You also speak Spanish, right?
Yes.
You can sing in Spanish.
Yes.
So this is obviously they are all Latino dancers, right?
Yes.
Shall we do that together?
The singing?
The singing and the dancing, yeah.
Okay.
Come on, let's do that. Come on.
Well, for the singing, but in Spanish, you know this song, the Bésame Mucho? You know this song?
Yeah, okay.
Bésame. Bésame mucho, como si fuera esta noche la última vez. Bésame, Bésame mucho. Tarararararara, tarararara.
That was beautiful. That was
Yes.
beautiful. And thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank
I
you.
think it's been really powerful. A great example of overcoming a lot of things in your life, becoming really the best out of your passion and out of your abilities, reconnecting with yourself. So many really great examples and lesson learned. I hope you'll have all the best of luck here in Dubai in any aspect that you start. And thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you so much for your invitation. You're a great interviewer, and I really hope to be back soon.
Yeah, definitely.